Today we decided to do something different. We would like to take you on a test drive.
Welcome to Inside Stellar, the podcast where we bring you behind the scenes of how we make decisions within operations, commercial, and also so you see a bit of the innovation behind our tech. Most of you already know, but anyone who is a new listener, Stellar delivers resilient connectivity across networks for mobility, enterprise, and governments. And recently we did a test drive, and we thought, what better way to bring you in than bring you along for the test drive.
And recently means 8 seconds ago. So we just stopped, and police. This is the reason why we don't have seat belts. We just stopped so that we can walk you through what we did for testing, what we generally do for testing, why we do tests, and maybe we can even show them the test setup in the back. And so where do we start?
Let's show the testing.
Oh, already we get out?
Let's show the testing setup of what we have going on in the car.
Let's get out. So let's just take a look at the quick setup that we have. So first of all, we start with the battery that we need to power the devices. Specifically, we have 3 devices. We have a global regolith 5G. So dual SIM card, the dual module Wi-Fi, and 5 ports. Then we have a global black 5G. These 2 objects are fundamentally the same. However, this is integrated antennas and plastic casing, while this is metallic casings with antennas that can be unscrewed so that you can have external things on roofs and stuff like that. And then, of course, the global regolith is connected via Ethernet to the Starlink mini antenna, where testing is set up in which we have a dual 5G solution. So talking also about the setup and the intelligence on board of Global. So you know that on board of our devices we have our AI-powered software STEER. STEER does multi-network orchestration. So specifically the reason why we have 2 globals is because the global black here is taking advantage of the dual multi-operator SIM cards with priority. So what this device does is that as we actually drive around, it connects to one network and to the other and sums them up so that the devices on the cellular-only solution is never disconnected. Then we have the global regolith that, in addition to the 2 cellular solutions, has a Starlink mini connected on the roof of the car. This is actually done so that we can test the difference between a multicellular only option and a multicellular plus Starlink solution. Obviously Starlink drops every time we are right now under trees, for example. So under foliage Starlink goes down. It goes down as well under every bridge or tunnel. But the idea that we want to sort of like verify is how much of an improvement within a developed country, at least, because there are multiple scenarios that we cannot test in our current configuration here as the commercial team. What is the value added, let's say, of a satellite connection for us? We really stopped on the side of a road and we have trucks passing by, so maybe we should probably get in.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so now since we explained the testing setup, how it looks in the car, let's dive in a little bit into the purpose of why the 3 of us are here in the car and why we are also involved in the testing, because we know that a lot of testing is done in the lab. Basically, we know how the software reacts in different situations based on what is done in the lab, and we are there to do kind of that final check, let's say, in terms of the human aspect as well. And Dursun, you were talking about it really nicely also, how we bring the customer experience and how we're able to also see what is that part of the interaction with the global. Maybe you can talk a bit more about that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we are part of the commercial team, right? So we speak a lot to prospects, to customers, and to be able to confidently sell our solutions. I think it's also important to see firsthand how does the setup work, either one solution on its own or in combination, like we showed a minute ago, right? I think it's very important to experience it kind of firsthand, to know, at least to imagine how customer experience might look like when they set up, if they have any difficulties or any issues, or they have questions in the process, right? We follow very similar process like customers do. We contact our team at support, at the support email, to make sure we get the same treatment as customers would. So this gives us also an understanding of how our customer service, customer support system works. Is it fast enough? Is it efficient enough, right? So we can also see if we need to do any improvements there. And obviously in this setup, unfortunately, we can't test every different use case that our customers bring, right? We don't have, for example, drones following us because we connect so many different vehicles, devices, things that move, things that don't move, and at a different altitude, different temperatures. So here at least we do mini setup to see how it's like for our customers to experience, to touch the devices, to turn them on, to see how long it takes, and all of that. Yeah, so it's exciting to be able to be in the customer's shoes.
Exactly.
In some customer shoes, at least, as you
In
said.
some customers, exactly.
We cannot test the mines in Africa every new variation, iteration of the software.
Because we do a lot of testing in the lab, what is the reason that now we're doing a lot more testing or a deeper testing process?
We do a lot of testing in the labs because basically most of the tests are there. Are done there. We have like 6,000 roughly automated tests that actually gets applied to our code every time that there is a variation. Nonetheless, not all the variations are the same. We have changes in the software that are minor. I don't want to say cosmetics because we don't do those, but minor changes to the software, and then we have more relevant changes to the software, and then occasionally, and this is once every year and a half typically, we have variations that go at kernel layer. So we are really going we're actually changing the way our software is interacting with the modems, is interacting with the board. And so when that's the case, we know that we do it to get 3x, 4x performance as a result, but we also know that we need to test this in a very thorough way. And that's actually the reason why, Dursun, to your point, us on the commercial team, we said, okay, well, give it to us. Let us play with that. We have fundamentally two advantages. Advantage number one is that we speak to customers, so we know what they're expecting. Advantage number two is that we're based in Luxembourg. So every 30 minutes we cross a border in every direction, and we have 3 try points on a map that we can leverage. For example, for this test session, we have a path which is actually covering 7 border crossing between Luxembourg, Belgium, France, and Luxembourg multiple times. And this is something that, while in the lab can be simulated, it's always useful for us to trust the lab testing up to a certain point, and then see what actually happens when it's in real life.
Maybe also something that's interesting to mention is that we do interact with Global and also with the testing team in this scenario where we do the test drive, but we also all have the Global at home. All of us, not only the commercial team, but everyone else involved at Stellar. So it means, yes, it's true, we can't test in all of the use cases, all of the situations that our customer uses it in, but we also find ourselves in a lot of different scenarios. So we interact, whether it's in the train, when we're when we're going to an event, an expo, and we also want to make use of that time. Or when we're in the car, like we mentioned in episode 2, about us driving to events, we also often have the Global so that we can get some work done in order to also make the best use of our time.
So you actually remember when we were talking about something, which episode?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. I listened to our podcast.
Indeed, but I don't remember which episode was what. So congrats.
I forgot what I
and
was saying.
also maybe the fact that our team is so dispersed, right? We have colleagues working, in different places, in the middle of nowhere, in the farm. And so they connect thanks to the combination of Global, Starlink, and Or I always use Global whenever I travel for personal trips as well, because, why not have connectivity, resilient connectivity, as we live the comfort of our home.
Don't convince them too much about that, because we don't sell to consumers. So
Yeah, really? Maybe we should.
at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe what I can add a bit is how the testing process functions in a typical scenario. So when, first of all, everything starts from commercial, us providing input requests to our development team and to our operations team. Then once we do that, a set of features is designed and is put into a roadmap. As that gets done, the roadmap gets treated in progressive sprints. We use the agile methodology, so we use sprints of 2 weeks cycles. So the changes gets inserted into a series of sprints. Some changes get handled within one sprint. Some other may require more than one sprint, especially like this kernel layer variations. And then as the developers on our side are working on the new code, that code gets automatically tested at a first level through automated tests. Only once it goes through all of the automated tests successfully, then that can be pushed into the main, basically the main version of the new software. And then we have another series of tests, which is roughly 6,000, that runs on the main branch, the main software version. And only once it passes those tests, then it gets built into the devices of the Stellarians first. And then, so in all of the globals that you both were saying that we have all at home, sometimes more than one device at home. Actually, every time more than one. I think I have 5. So the build gets pushed to all of our devices. Then we get to use it and experience it very informally, not during a test campaign, but just because it's an upfront, it's a sort of like a preview of what the software can do. Sometimes it does what we expect, sometimes it does not. When it does not, we send the inputs back and it goes back to the drawing board. When it does what we expect and we are ready to do road testing, then road testing begins. When road testing begins, then that's also the moment when us on the commercial side we say, okay, well, let us also test it since we're in Luxembourg, and it's a very good occasion to meet, to record podcasts, but also to understand what we should expect from this new version of the software.
And maybe can you also address what are we actually testing? And we kind of touched upon the fact that Luxembourg is an ideal spot because of the border crossing, but why does border crossing even matter?
Okay, it's a good point. So when testing connectivity, I would say it is very easy, and there is no need for any extra software or extra intelligence to connect in a stationary environment to a stationary network. Let's say you just buy a modem and the modem does it, or a router and the router does it. The problem is that routers and modems are not actually designed for rapid handover from one network to another. And so this is very true when you're moving between your home and your garage. When you go from Wi-Fi of home to the cellular of the streets, where already internet has session discontinuities and packet losses. But it is even more true when you are in a car, you're on a train, you're on a boat, where you're actually changing technologies, but also, again, access to various cell towers. Most of the times, a cell is the main driver, or even Wi-Fi hotspots along the road. And so the way to sort of like when we all most experience disconnections is when we border across. is when we cross a border. Because we are changing from the cellular operators of one country into the cellular operators of another country. There is always like a 10 kilometers roughly of no man's land in which nothing connects to anything, because one set of operators of one country are interfering with these guys, and the other ones of the other country are interfering on the other side. So everyone tries to keep the transmission power very, very low for that reason. And so what we are testing is basically our software intelligence that come applied to our modems, or to any modems in fact, on how it can handle seamless switching from one network to another, but also the ability to combine multiple networks at once, be those same technology or multi-technology, specifically satellite and cellular. The reason why we use Starlink here is just because is first of all the cheapest and most readily available of the satellite connectivity, but our software doesn't care if it's Starlink or it's anything else. It's just that we don't want to spend 100,000 euros for an antenna for testing, and so Starlink serves its purpose very well in this sense.
Plus, it's very compact compared to everything else available
Compared
in the
with most
market.
of the things, yeah, it is very compact.
I wouldn't want to sit under a bigger terminal.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And since we recently did the test drive, aka today, what is a successful test drive and what is an unsuccessful test drive? Obviously for us it's a lot about the experience with the devices, with also us testing it, actually calling, actually using the internet in a more practical sense. But when we're noting down all of these findings, all of these things that we are testing on the way, what is a successful and an unsuccessful test? I think it's interesting to bring it.
Yeah, but this maybe you both can tell us much better than me because I'm driving. So as I drive, you are actually having laptops open on a test plan. What does that test plan say? How does it look like? And so because I'm driving.
Oh yeah.
You do the easy part
I
of
do the
the
easy
job.
one. I just have to go. I need to follow a 7-step route. That's
Yeah.
it.
Usually our operations team puts together a comprehensive file, step by step, that we need to follow, right? The moment we turn on the car, it means our global also turns on because it has access to power. Within less than 3 minutes, it should connect to internet. So we log, does it actually happen? And then on the border crossing, there are also tasks to look out for, such as how long does it take to do the handover? Do we have an area where we don't have any network, or is the network drops, right? We do speed tests throughout the journey, also to see, to measure the quality of the network as well. And I don't know, am I missing anything else? What is in the Excel file?
The Excel file has a lot of rows.
Steps, yeah.
A lot of rows. But I think, it's the more practical also aspect of it, of how easy it is to handle, plug in. Like you said, the 3 minutes, that to make sure that it actually powers on and actually works. That's all.
Of course, the video calls also, right? Because while we are driving and logging kind of these things, we're also on the video call with the team in Bordeaux. So they observe if the quality of the video drops or not, right? So that's also another.
You're right. There's also a matter
indicator.
of like quality of experience seen from the other side. Are we being pixelated? Are we not being pixelated?
Yeah. Because for some of our clients, it matters, right? They want to be streaming live footage, and so, or they want to have video call, especially if the operations are in remote areas. So it's very important that these things work.
To wrap up today's episode, I think it's very clear to see that the full team is really involved in the testing, whether it's from the more consumer experience and what we hear from the customers that we have. And then also we have the tech team, who's obviously super involved on making sure everything is clean, pristine before it goes out onto the boxes of our customer and before they're updated with all of the new upgrades. So thanks a lot for joining us on this test drive. And I think we're gonna wrap up our own test drive now.
It's time to wrap up.
And see you at the next podcast episode. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.